Two famous events are recorded in Matthew 14. The first is the miracle of the 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, and the second is when Peter walked on water. Right before these two events, Jesus heard of John the Baptist's execution. He went to the wilderness to spend time alone. However, he saw a great crowd gathered to see him. He had compassion on them and healed the sick among them. Jesus always has compassion on us like that. Then, when dinner time came, he performed a miracle where he fed a crowd of over 5,000 people with just 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. And then he sent his disciples away on a boat, dispersed the crowd, and went up on the mountain to pray alone over the whole night. Meanwhile, the disciples were going through a hard time because they encountered a severe storm. Then during the night, Jesus came toward them walking on the water. When Peter saw Jesus, he asked him to allow him to walk on the water as well. It seems like Peter became excited as he saw Jesus walking on water. He probably thought something like, "There's nothing impossible with Jesus. If he commands me to walk on water, maybe I can too." And he really got to walk on water. Imagine Peter walking on water in pitch darkness and amidst the raging winds. The faith to walk on water is indeed great faith. If Peter could not trust Jesus more than common sense, he could not have stepped on the water. However, after walking on the water briefly while looking at Jesus, Peter saw the raging waves and came to his senses. He became afraid and started to drown. And he cried out to Jesus. Then Jesus grabbed him and rebuked him for having little faith and doubting. In our eyes, Peter's faith seemed to be great because he walked on water. But Jesus said that his faith was small. How could this be? When we experience a miracle, at that moment, we may think like we can do anything. We feel like we can give our lives for Jesus and move mountains. However, this type of faith is often quite temporary. So, although it seems to be remarkable, it's actually small faith. True great faith is faith that does not waver and doubt, even when encountering the tempestuous waves. When we first come to faith, we experience joy and feel like everything in our lives will turn out well. But it's not so. And it's because God puts us through a time of training in order to make us more holy, to make us come closer to Him, and to help us grow spiritually. When Abraham obeyed God's command and went to the promised land, what awaited him was not great blessings, but a severe famine. When the Israelites came out of Egypt, what awaited them was the wilderness where people could not live. This is the history of the Old Testament, but it is so much like our own lives. We too often experience various hardships and trials even when we serve God and try to obey Him. In those times, we so easily become overwhelmed with doubt. We doubt whether God really exists or whether we are on the right path. In those times, it's impossible for us to not doubt at all because we are weak. However, we need to overcome our doubt with prayer and praise. We can also ask advice from our more experienced believers. Especially if you are first-generation Christians, then we must toil that much harder. One of my favorite hymns is "I Don't Know About Tomorrow." The lyrics go like this: "Many things about tomorrow I don't seem to understand, but I know who holds the future, and I know He holds my hand." Yes, sometimes we may be afraid of the future and don't know what to expect. We may experience some things we may not understand during our walk of faith and go through utter darkness and storms. We may become discouraged and doubt God when we see unbelievers prosper. However, we must remember who is holding our hands and our future. We must remember who He is. Jesus is God. He is Almighty. And not only does He know the future, but determines it. Then, although we may be weak and clueless and helpless, as long as we hold on to Jesus' hand, He will lead us on the good path. I pray that we may overcome all doubt and fear with faith in our Jesus and experience victory.
I don't know about tomorrow. I just live from day to day. I don't borrow from his sunshine, for his skies may turn to gray. I don't worry o'er the future, for I know what Jesus said. And today I walk beside him, for he knows what is ahead. Many things about tomorrow I don't seem to understand, but I know who holds tomorrow, and I know who holds my hand. Every step is getting brighter as the golden stairs I climb. Every bird is getting lighter, every cloud is silver lined. There the sun is always shining, there no tear will dim the eye. At the ending of the rainbow, where the mountains touch the sky. Many things about tomorrow I don't seem to understand, but I know who holds tomorrow, and I know who holds my hand. I don't know about tomorrow, it may bring me poverty, but the one who feeds the sparrow is the one who stands by me. And the path that be my portion may be through the flame or flood, but his presence goes before me, and I'm covered with his blood. Many things about tomorrow I don't seem